Welcome back, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me yet again. Another topic on one of the more popular questions that gets asked. The amount of money you can make with Prime in trucking. And this came up because this particular truck that I've had now for exactly a year. Actually, I've had it just over a year at this point. But the way Prime sends out their settlements, and I'm going to show you another real quick look at this, but I'm just going to focus on one exact number. They do obviously the current week, they do the year to date, and then they do the lease to date. Well, last year at the end of year, the lease to date was not a full calendar year's worth of this truck. The year to date, I didn't have a truck on my own for a full year. So this is the first opportunity, going from August 25th, and this is the week ending August 26th, that I can say, here's a year's worth of lease to date that I can show you. This is the dollar amount that I deposited in my bank account. Now, the caveat that I throw on this, and I've said it multiple times if you've watched these videos. If not, first of all, welcome to the channel. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. I'm glad to answer questions. But I do something different. Again, if you're new to the channel, I do a tanker account. It says that in the item title of the video. I do a dedicated. So I have a lightweight truck. I go home every night. I occasionally sleep in my truck. I probably average a couple nights a month sleeping in my truck. Otherwise, I am at my house sleeping in my own bed. That is something you can do with Prime. You just have to find the scenario that lets you do it. My scenario is I do tanker dedicated out of Decatur, Indiana, and I live 15 minutes from the terminal. And probably 99% of what I do is a drop and hook pickup in Decatur. Go and deliver something. That's what I'm doing today, delivering in Bradley, Illinois. And then I'm driving back to Decatur to drop the trailer off, driving back home. I'm going to barbecue tonight, watch some college football. It is Labor Day weekend, and I'm going to watch some college football tonight. And that's what I do. It's about 99% of what I do is a Decatur pickup, deliver somewhere, go back to Decatur, go home. Wake up the next day in my own bed, Decatur pickup, deliver somewhere, back to Decatur, go home. There are times I do 2 deliveries in a day. There are times I run out of our other facility, which is in Bellevue, Ohio, for this dedicated account. But just when you look at the number I'm going to throw up here, keep in mind I am not an over-the-road truck driver. I go home every day. I usually get 1 day off per weekend. This is a holiday weekend. Actually, I'm 2 days off this weekend. Also keep in mind with this figure that I have taken time off. I've never taken a full week off in having this truck for a year, but I have taken several long weekends. Holidays are very, very slow. I'm kind of surprised this is Sunday, and I have a load today. I did not have a load yesterday. I do not have a load tomorrow. 4th of July, I took, I think 4 or 5, I think I took 5 days off around the 4th of July. I took another weekend off. I took Memorial Day weekend, the entire weekend off. Around Christmas, I think I took 5 days off. New Year's, I took 3 days off. So holidays, first of all, there's not freight, so it's not like you're missing out on freight, but obviously you still have to make that truck payment. But, to the point, 1 year, no taxes taken out of this. There's no insurance. I don't have insurance through Prime anyway. So that's not factored into this whatsoever. But 52 weeks, bottom line. I don't know how well we're going to be able to see this. This bottom number, right there, 57,000. $21, $51.81. So my apologies. So right there is the number we're looking at. That is, and so I'm not hiding, it says total statement of income and expense. This is what I made this week, was $1,308. This was year to date, was $35,000. And year, or lease to date on this truck, which was 52 weeks, $57,051.81. Now, with all that time off, I said, a couple random weekends off, every holiday, basically not doing a whole heck of a lot. You know, divide that number by 52, and the number I have handwritten, $1,097.15 is your weekly average. That's before taxes. That does not include insurance. On the positive side, because I know I've told folks that I make probably $1,300 in an average week. That lower number to say, well, why are you saying $1,300 in an average week when the 52-week average is $1,100? If I work 6 days, the average check's going to be $1,300. If I take time off, then it's going to be a lower check. I mentioned the 4th of July. Actually, it was the 4th of July and the weekend prior. I had one check which was, I think, $190, and I think another check that was around $200. So basically, I made my costs. And I really wasn't concerned those couple of weeks because I wasn't necessarily trying to make money. I was trying to not go in the hole those weeks with the amount of time I took off. Now, I personally don't have an emergency fund. You can set up an emergency fund, and you can set up $50 a week, $100 a week, $200 a week, anything you want. And you can set that aside for weeks when you take time off, when you don't make a lot of money, and you can pay yourself back. You can pay those costs for the truck not running to Prime. I haven't done that, but that's bottom line raw figures. If that seems really low to you and doesn't seem like it's worthwhile, and you think I'm not making enough money, that's your problem. I don't really care if you don't like what I'm making. I'm happy with it, and I'm happy with it for a large amount because I go home every day. If I was making that amount and I was out on the road and going home every 6 weeks, I may not be happy with that dollar figure. But that's what I make doing what I do. That's 52 weeks, 365 days worth of what can you make. Again, I'm sure some of you guys are going to watch this and say, well, geez, that's all you're making? How come you're not making more? Could I make more if I was an over-the-road truck driver? I don't have necessarily the evidence because I didn't drive for Prime over the road for a long enough period of time to have that answer for you. I can tell you that I believe the potential is there as an over-the-road driver to make more than what I'm making. Personally, I value going home every day and one day off a weekend with a high school-age daughter and a spouse, a wife of going on 18 and a half, 19 years here this coming February. So if I give up some money for what I gain back on that side, I'm fine with that. It is what it is. But those are the raw figures. Over 1 full year of leasing with Prime, $57,000 and change, and give or take $1,100 per week, including taking time off. I like to tell people $1,300 a week. And the reason, again, I'm not trying to be deceptive. If I work 6 days and don't take time off, that's what a check's going to be. It's going to be about $1,300. And again, this check was $1,308.42. Settlement, and you can't really call it a check. This is a settlement, and you have to watch how leasing works to necessarily understand what that means. But $1,300, if I work 6 days, that's about what's going to be there. There are obviously going to be weeks where there's more. Last week was $1,600. You know, this is, at this point, by the time I'm taping this was a couple weeks ago. Last week was $1,600. A couple weeks ago before that was $800. That's how you get an average of $1,100. You have some great weeks. You have some down. I think the largest one I ever got was $2,400 because I worked 7 days that week, and there was a lot of good loads that week. But again, 52 weeks, 57,000 and change. You take that how you will. I'll take it how I will. If you're interested in coming to Prime, you don't need to go and search out Drive for Prime. There's a link in the description of this video. Go ahead and click on that. That'll take you directly to the application. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again next week.